welcome back. It is the Vegas Take, Sharp and Shapiro. Glad you could join us. This is what I think of some of those callers. Not all of them. Some of them were good callers, but some of those callers, like that last one. I'm sorry. I just wanted to play my little sounder thing here. That's all. It just gave me an excuse to do that. That's all. Sorry, that was my Donald Trump little sticky talker thing.
That's the worst thing ever.
I haven't played any of that in the last hour, so I'm
very thankful for that.
I felt the urge. Well, we are going to play some audio here. But by the way, if you missed our interview with Michael Avenatti, it'll be up on our Twitter page at The Vegas Take shortly, so we will play that. And look, agree, disagree with the man. I've been very clear on how I feel about him and think he's a very smart guy. He's entertaining. He's a good interview. And we'll have to wait and see how the courtroom, all that stuff plays out. And we'll monitor it, and we'll follow it. And I like the guy personally. I don't know if he committed crimes. I have no idea. But I like the guy. I do. I'll tell you a guy I don't like. That's Jussie Smollett. I think he's one of the world's hatest people. You think that's fair to say? Hello? JD, you listening? You okay?
Jussie Smollett at this point?
Are you looking up porn on your phone?
I think he is.
Is that what you're just doing? You're Tucker Carlson.
I think that he is a borderline terrorist. I think that what he did was an attempt at terrorism by trying to incite a race war.
I would agree. Can I ask you what you're looking up on your phone?
I was checking the score to the Warriors-Raptors game. It's
up right there. It's right above your face. You're turning into Tucker Carlson on me. Don't be offended. I'm just messing with you. What? I can't mess with my co-host once in a while? It was a joke. It was a joke. Okay, for the record, I'm not trying to offend my co-host. I was joking around with him. He was not looking at porn on his phone. I was joking. He was looking up basketball scores. I apologize. I'm sorry. Do you accept my apology? It was a joke. I know you weren't doing that. I know you wouldn't do that during the show.
Yes, Brian, your apology has been accepted.
I know you wouldn't do that during the show. I didn't say you wouldn't do it after the show. All right, so we're talking about Jussie Smollett, and police just released the 911 call that was made by his friend. Okay, this is January 29th. This is the phone call that Chicago PD released, and it involves a friend of his that shows up. Now, keep in mind, video surveillance is claiming that Jussie Smollett went to Subway, and after the attack, he still had the Subway sandwich in his hand. After the attack, he still had this supposed noose that was around his neck. So I want to play you this 911 call. They just released it today. Here it is.
I just need the police to come by. I work with an artist. I don't really want to say his name, but he stayed here. He went to Subway. He was walking by, and some guys, I don't know, they jumped him or something like that. And I just want to report it and make sure he's all right. I'm waiting in the lobby. I'm going to go back up to the apartment.
Okay, so you're going back to the apartment, so you're just going to leave him there?
Yeah, I came down because I didn't realize the address. I didn't realize the address. And, he was cool. He didn't want me to call you guys, but I feel like he needs to make a report.
Okay, you can't make the report for him. Did he want to make a report?
No, he that's why I'm doing it. He's definitely going to make the report. I'm going to make him make the report.
Does your friend need an ambulance?
I just think he's startled. What's really weird, man, just because I'm scared, I don't know what it is. They put a noose around his neck.
All right, so there you go. That's the 911 call that was made by his friend. Here's a couple things about that raised my eyebrows. First of all, it didn't seem like he wanted to file a report. His friend said he was going to make him file the report. Okay, JD, if you were physically assaulted by two men with a noose around your neck or whatever the case may be, and you were physically harmed in the middle of the night, would that be a normal reaction?
Especially when it's -6 degrees outside.
What do you make of that phone call?
It sounds like Jussie Smollett was sitting right next to him and showing him what to do.
Well, clearly. I mean, that's what he did with these two other men, clearly.
That's basically all it was.
So we should report this, that Chicago is suing Jussie, if you were unaware, for the cost of the police investigation. This guy belongs behind bars. I've been very consistent on this.
Well, Empire's been canceled.
The whole show?
The whole show has been canceled, not renewed for season 6.
I thought it was a popular show.
It was a popular show.
You think only for this reason?
I would say that this was definitely a part of it, but also the storyline was getting... I mean, I watched it. It was a decent show, but the storyline wasn't great.
So do you think he's struggling financially now?
If he is, he shouldn't be. He was making, I think, close to $50,000 an episode. I mean, He has money. He should have money at least.
I actually think I want all the evidence to be put out there. All the evidence that they showed the grand jury. I want us all to see what a lying scumbag this guy is. I want everybody to see. And I don't want this guy to work anymore. I don't. I don't think he should.
The one that should really take the wrath from this is Fox, is the prosecutor who just basically, hey, the charges are dropped. And she is closely connected to Michelle Obama. That is a real thing. And there could actually be a tie here. That could come out when the evidence comes out.
I cannot imagine, and I hope I'm right on this. I cannot imagine that Michelle Obama would call up Fox and say, hey, let this guy go. Why? Why would she do that? Because he's black? That doesn't make any sense to me. I cannot imagine that Michelle Obama would do that. Now, and again, we're making an assumption here. Yes, I do believe that somebody got in the ear of Fox. Absolutely. I don't think it was Michelle Obama, but it could have been anybody. It could have been some of Jussie Smollett's friends. Could have been some of his celebrity friends. Could have been anybody. It could have been one of Fox's friends. I don't know. Somebody got in her ear. And we need to find out who that was, and we need to find out why Fox decided to do what she did.
I think that we will find out who that was and why she did what she did.
I mean, because this whole situation is absurd. How this guy gets off scot-free is absurd.
Imagine how bad this could have gotten.
It's pretty bad because if you happen to be a gay man or African American, if you happen to be an African American gay man, and you've suffered through something horrific like this, and it actually did happen to you, he did a complete disservice to anybody out there that has ever been the victim of a horrible crime.
And he tried to turn himself into a hero or a martyr.
Well,
for those cultures.
I'm going to tell you something. Anybody that hires this guy in the next couple of years should be shamed. Shamed. Because I think he committed career suicide, and rightfully so. He deserves it. Do I not think he deserves to act again maybe 5-6 years down the road? Yeah, he does, probably, if he stays out of trouble.
I think he should be charged with conspiracy to incite a terroristic act against the United States of America.
Well, he was charged with some serious crimes.
Against the people of the United States of America.
Right. For whatever reason, Fox decided to let him go. Completely and utterly absurd. Makes no sense. But that 911 call that we just played, pretty evident to me that whoever this person was that made that call was told to do what he did.
Exactly.
And I thought it was really weird that he says, well, if he doesn't...
Oh, yeah. Oh, by the way, he has a noose around his neck. I'm sorry I didn't mention that.
And by the way...
Kind of an important detail.
And by the way, when the paramedics arrived, and by the way, it wasn't a noose that was tight around his neck. So when the ambulance arrived and when the police arrived, he never took it off. He never took off the noose. He kept it on, I suppose, for effect, for a sick effect. It's disgusting. There is no doubt that this guy belongs behind bars. There is no doubt that he is a complete ignoramus, racist fool. It's exactly what he is. And those two brothers, God, eventually those two, I believe they were brothers, right? That he paid to do this attack. I guess, they haven't done any interviews or anything like that. Eventually, they're going to probably speak to the media. Eventually, we're going to get to some more of the details. We know that he paid them $100 to buy the rope and to buy all the other stuff. We also know, based on some documents that were released last week, that apparently he bought drugs from these two guys. I don't know what kind of drugs, but he did buy some drugs from these two guys. We know that as well. So police obviously say that Smollett, staged this entire attack. We're not reporting on anything new there. But, the fact that this 911 call was just released, I truly believe that more information is going to come out, and the police are going to start releasing more and more information. They are pissed. Chicago police are pissed off. They worked hard. They did their due diligence to try to figure out exactly what happened, and Jussie Smollett completely and utterly wasted their time. I want to bring this up real quickly before we go because I think this is important. We talk a little UNLV hoops, and we understand that UNLV football season's right around the corner, but UNLV hoops just released their out-of-conference schedule officially, and we've talked about it a little bit on this show. What do you think about this? IPFW, they play on November 5th. JD. Then they go to play Kansas State on the 9th. Then they're at Cal and at UCLA. So those are two tough games. Then they come back home and they play a couple of easy ones. They play Texas State. Then they play SMU at home. Then they play Jackson State at home. So they should win those games. But then they go on the road and they play Cincinnati. And then they go on the road and they play BYU. Again, two tough games. Who's Cincinnati's coach, by the way? Have they hired somebody yet? You don't know?
I don't know.
Yeah, because Cronin's over there at UCLA.
Yeah.
The reason why I think they have a relationship with Cincinnati and UCLA is because of Mick Cronin. UNLV has some sort of good relationship with him, and then they have a home and away, which is kind of cool. Then you get back home and you play a couple games that are not exactly great. Pacific, horrible team in the West Coast Conference, just terrible. Robert Morris, horrendous team in the Northeast Conference. They're not very good. And then they play Eastern Michigan. So I'll say this, it's certainly an upgrade from what Marvin Menzies did. Look, you're on the road at Cal and UCLA. You get Kansas State at home. Kansas State, a good basketball team, right? And then at home, you get SMU. And then on the road, you're playing Cincinnati and BYU. That's not a horrible out-of-conference schedule. What do you think about that? I mean, I'm pretty happy with that. I think it's an upgrade.
Yeah, you have to applaud Altsberger for what he's doing right now.
Yeah.
Because one thing you can do when you play these games, when you play at a UCLA or at a Cincinnati or at a Kansas State, is you can actually kind of inversely recruit while you're there. And those high school players in that city or that region will think of UNLV in some capacity, which could help you long term. And so I think that having the schedule be much more difficult than it was last year this team's not going to be great. I just they don't have a lot of talent returning. When David Jenkins is actually here in a year and a half, that'll be a different story. But it's a good move by TJ to try to expand his recruiting on a national level.
And, I've been saying that the last couple of weeks. I think he's doing the right things. I think he's gotten out there in the community, and he's done a fine job. Let's call it for what it is. The bottom line is you got to win. And I understand this is year one, but sorry, you got to win. He's had enough time to recruit. Time to win.
And if you look, a lot of those teams they're actually perennial defensive powerhouses, like a Kansas State, a Cincinnati, and SMU. Those are really good defensive teams. You're gonna have a.
Didn't Robert Morris win the NEC conference and they won
they made the tournament.
They won a game. They won the playing game, didn't they?
I think they won. I think they made the tournament 2 years ago.
Yeah, maybe it was 2. Yeah.
But you're gonna be able to test your offense against some really, really good defensive teams, which will help you in conference play.
Who's coaching BYU, by the way? Didn't Dave Rose step down? I don't even know who's coaching BYU, but they're on the road against BYU as well. That's not an easy game. That's never easy to play out there in Provo.
Well, I believe that Yoli Childs is back.
Yeah. So why does it say Salt Lake? Why are they? It must be a tournament or something because it says they're playing in Salt Lake, and don't they play? They play in Provo, right?
Yeah, BYU is located in Provo.
Yeah, that's weird. It says Salt Lake there. On the road at Cincinnati, that's not an easy game. But that, it's look, you don't want to play 8 top 25 teams. I get that. But at the same time, I think this is a good out-of-conference schedule.
And I mentioned defense. Cal is horrendous offensively, but they're always very solid defensively. Mm-hmm. This is a lot of tests for this offense. I think that's a good idea.
What is IPFW?
It's a school in Purdue or in Indiana.
Oh, it's not Purdue.
Right.
It's another Purdue.
It's a school in Indiana.
I don't even know what that is. Okay.
The IPFW.
So that'll be a cakewalk. But hey, Kansas State at home. Kansas State's a good basketball team. That's a good game. So we're going to know.
Kansas State, if Dean Wade was healthy last year, they could have easily been an Elite 8 team. They were that good.
Put it this way, we're going to know very early how good this team is. We're going to find out. Right, and not to say that there's not going to be room for improvement.
And I think that, as opposed to Marvin Menzies, if the team isn't very good early, we're not going to hear a lot of excuses from Otzelberger.
I certainly hope not. He doesn't strike me.
I don't think he's going to give us excuses.
He doesn't strike me.
He's going to give us solutions.
He doesn't strike me as the guy that would do that. I agree. I mean, I hate to bring up Marvin Menzies, but boy, the excuses that we heard from him time and time again when he lost games he shouldn't have lost here. And on the road too. It was a joke. I mean, it was horrible. It was terrible. So I hope you're right. I don't think, like I said, Otzelberger. He doesn't strike me as the kind of guy that would do that. He seems to be the kind of guy that will hold himself and the team accountable.
And I think that he's going to be cognizant to the fact that the prior regime did do that, and he's going to know that the fan base is used to that, and so is the media. And he's going to take that into consideration. I think he's smart enough to realize that. and have that be a reason why he doesn't do it either.
Perhaps that's part of the reason why he's done such a great job and been out in the community
Right,
so
because
much.
he's just doing the exact opposite of what the last coach did.
Well, and I said this, and this had, doesn't have anything to do with us, but, just the way he's treated me over the course of the last month or so is far better than anything I got from Marvin Menzies in 3 or 4 years. That's 100%. I'm just basing it on my own personal interactions with the guy. He seems to me to be a lot more genuine, and he's off to a good start. He's done a great job out in the community. He's done a fantastic job reaching out to people so far. I hope he does reach out to some of these guys again, like Larry Johnson and Anderson Hunt. But anyway, if you missed our interview, our thanks to Michael Avenatti. Check us out on Twitter tonight. We will get that up as soon as possible. And tomorrow on the show, Mike Babcock will be joining us, and Jamison Walsh from Drive Time Sports as well. So,
yeah, and all of our information is tvtradio.com is the website. The Facebook is the Vegas Take Radio.
Yep.
SoundCloud, the Vegas Take. YouTube, the Vegas Take Radio, and Twitter, the Vegas Take.
And there you have it. We'll join you same time, same place tomorrow. Ken Thompson coming up next.